Richard, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for a very warm welcome this morning. And it's a great delight for Linda and I to be here at the start of a very important week in our national life. I also begin by thanking the Ngunnawal people for looking after this such a beautiful part of our country so well for generation after generation. And I thank them for that and pay respect to their elders and past and present. Can I recognise Mr. Richard Brooke, the CEO, Dr. Susan Packer, a board director for NAPCAN, Ms. Jodie Griffiths-Cook from the ACT Human Rights Commission, Mr. Richard Dennis, the Chief Economist for the Australian Institute, ladies and gentlemen, all those joining us online today. Over the last month, Linda and I have been in a virtual world, like many, as we've contacted the mayors and Lord Mayors of the suburbs, the surrounds of the greater Melbourne metropolitan area, and then those local government areas adjacent to Melbourne, and the mayors of the local government areas that have been affected by bushfire and are still in recovery, and we have a rolling program of contact with them. This has been an important thing to do. We spent about half an hour to 40 minutes with the Mayor and CEO or General Manager equivalent discussing what's occurring in their particular area, either as a direct result of the health impact of the pandemic or the second order economic effects that are affecting their particular area. And throughout those conversations, you're always very mindful that this is where the face-to-face contact with the community happens. Federal and state government are the big muscle movers, policy and funding, but looking people in the eye, delivering services, checking that people have food and so on is down at that level. And one of the constants in those conversations is the impact of the current environment on children of all ages. High school kids wondering what's going to happen to their time, children who don't do well with remote learning at home and then don't come back to school. So we have a cohort out there who may not finish formal education. And then families who are struggling with young children confined in smaller apartments, finding that difficult. It creates enormous pressure. It gives us an issue that we need to address in the next 2 years or so as the economic impact of the pandemic plays out on families. So we have a real short-term emphasis on putting children first in our community at the moment. But you who have been involved with looking after our children, protecting our children over nearly a generation, 30 years, know that there's another aspect to this. In my former role as the Governor of New South Wales, Linda and I developed association with the Allawah Children's Hospital in Sydney. Now, Allawah caters for severely disabled young children, most of whom were born with those disabilities. But unfortunately and regrettably, there are some who are there because they were physically abused as children, as babies. And when you confront that site, you realise that the real difficulties we sometimes have in our community with lack of knowledge about parenting, or people who use their position to abuse, to empower them to abuse our children. You could not walk out of that hospital not being committed to ensuring that all our children grow up in a safe and secure environment, nurtured and loved. We have an 8-month-old grandson, our first grandson, Charlie. If the love that was poured into Charlie in the first 6 months of his life could be poured into every child, our country would not have any issues with its future. We are a country of good people, and we see that here today. Putting children first, deciding that your priority is our future, not your today, is very, very important. So I thank all the organisations that are represented in the room here today and online, large and small, for your commitment over 30 years to put our children first. The statistics, as we know, are not good. In some areas in Australia, 1 in 4 children are at risk of abuse. 1 in 4. I mean, we should be shocked by that. So this is a call to arms this week 3 words: putting children first, a call to action, a call to arms. We've been doing this for 30 years. There have been improvement, but it needs to be done better. People ask, what are the practical things I can do? There are a few. Taking time out to listen to what children and young people have to say. Being kind and supportive to parents and those who are caring for their children. Being friendly and helping to create strong communities where everyone has a sense of belonging. And I do think one of the things we've discovered over through the bushfire period and the pandemic is what it really means to be a neighbour, how to look out for each other, to be a good neighbour, and very important when we're looking at children. And most importantly, of course, speaking up if you see something that is not safe. That can put children first and can be done very practically. We have a while to go, a way to go. We have more work to do, but again, after being a governor of a state for 4.5 years, and now the Governor-General of this country for 13 months, I see every day the goodness in the Australian community. I see every day great people working for very noble ends in our country. Now, people could say I've mellowed in my old age, or I'm seeing Australia through rose-coloured glasses, but I'm not. Linda and I see I don't have a survey, but it's empirical evidence every day. So I'm optimistic about us. We are good people, and we have a very important cause here with NAPCAN, with all the organisations supporting the National Child Protection Week. So thank you for what you do. It's critical work and it's important work. And the lives, at the very basic part of this, the lives of children depend on it. So I look forward to continuing to working with NAPCAN. We're very proud to be patrons of NAPCAN with other organisations, and to ensuring that every child has the best opportunity for a happy and a fulfilling life. And therefore, it's a great pleasure for me now to open the National Child Protection Week for 2020. 30 years anniversary, but more work to be done. Thank you.